You idiots! You're all incompetent. I paid you all to do this at St. Mary's Chapel, not here.
This is St. Mary's Chapel.
What? What are you talking about?
About that.
Hello, I'm Luna. Just like any other girl, I wanted a peaceful wedding, but just like any other sister, I was a target of a sibling rivalry. It all started when we were all gathered at our family dinner, and I felt a mix of excitement and nerves as I finally decided to share the date for our wedding. It was a moment I had been eagerly waiting for. My heart raced as I prepared to make the announcement that held so much meaning for Harry and me. As we finished our meal, I stood up with a smile, my hands slightly trembling. Guess what, everyone? Harry and I have finally settled on a date for our wedding. It's this coming September 15. Oh, that's wonderful. Congratulations, dear. But is there any particular reason for choosing that date? Actually, there is, and I'm glad you asked. It's a special day for us because it's the exact date when Harry and I said I love you to each other for the first time. Embarrassingly enough, my heart still flutters when I remember that moment. Oh, how adorable. Save it for your vows. Oh, Luna, that's so romantic. I'm so happy for you. Everyone around the table beamed with happiness and genuine joy. They squealed by the sweetness of the reason behind our chosen date, and I could feel their love and support. But as I scanned the faces around the table, my smile faltered when I saw my sister Leela. Her expression wasn't what I expected. There was a hint of annoyance in her eyes, and I could tell that she wasn't too thrilled. I know that look, and I already have a bad feeling of what will happen next. Leela suddenly stood up, diverting everyone's attention to her.
Oh, by the way, I have an announcement too. Mark your calendars, everyone. I'm getting married on the same day as Luna.
I knew it. I knew it was the same look whenever she plans to be the center of attention of a situation. I also knew she had that tendency to steal my spotlight, but I didn't really think she would do it now. My jaw dropped in shock. I saw Ivan, her fiancé, give her a surprised look as well. She tried to steal my thunder once again. I don't get it. Why couldn't she just let me have this one thing that was so important to me? She really did not waste any second in overshadowing my announcement and my wedding. Wait, what? Just earlier this morning, I asked Ivan about your wedding, and he told me that you two haven't decided on a date yet. How come you already have one now and it's the same date as mine? Ivan seemed surprised and confused as well with Leela's sudden revelation.
Yeah, we haven't really settled on a date yet, right? When did we talk about this?
Oh, don't be silly, honey. We definitely have, and you agreed, remember? You forgetful little guy. Yes, it's on September 15 because, September 15 was when we first met, and then I already knew he was the one. Yeah.
Leela gave Ivan a warning look, urging him to go along with whatever Leela was saying. It's obvious how she's just making this all up on the spot. They probably haven't even discussed about it, but just claimed the same one as her own just to get attention.
I guess it's just meant to be a double celebration. Don't be so selfish, Luna. You can't own a date, plus we're sisters after all.
She made a joke, but I wasn't so pleased about it. On the other hand, my parents seemed thrilled at the idea of a double wedding.
Oh, but it's not a double wedding. I couldn't possibly have my wedding in the same area as yours. Your taste is just, well, let's just say, not for everyone. I want mine to be elegant. It's best to have separate venues, so you guys can just choose which wedding to attend.
Leela huffed, grabbing Ivan's hand, and stormed out of the room. It was tough to keep my cool, and I couldn't help but feel hurt and betrayed by my own sister. As much as I wanted to confront her, I knew it wouldn't lead to anything good. I know she won't back down, so neither will we. I can't just give her everything she wants, so I stood my ground and was firm on our wedding date. I refused to let it overshadow the love and excitement I had for my wedding. I knew that at the end of the day, what mattered most was the love and commitment my partner and I had for each other. As the days passed, our wedding preparations were in full swing. Harry and I were busy finalizing the details for our big day, and I was filled with excitement and anticipation. But little did I know that behind the scenes, my sister Leela was plotting and scheming to make sure that my wedding was a disaster. First, she tried to seal the venue Henry and I had our eyes on. When the news reached Leela on how we got to book the venue first, she confronted Yvonne in a fit of rage.
I can't believe you let Luna take that venue away from us. Did you even fight for it?
Leela, I didn't know you wanted that venue so badly, and besides, she booked it fair and square. Don't you think we should let her have it?
You're so annoying. You don't get it, and you really are good for nothing. I can't even think about marrying you if you can't even do this one thing for me.
Desperate to salvage their relationship, Yvonne went to me and pleaded with me to give Leela the venue. He explained how much it meant to her and how devastated she was about losing it. At first, I was hesitant, but I pitied him. All right, Yvonne, I understand how much this means to you. I'll allow it. Just this one time, I'll give her the venue, if it will give you both some peace of mind.
Thank you for your kindness, Luna. I owe you one.
The day of our weddings had finally arrived, and I couldn't contain my excitement as I got ready to marry the love of my life, Harry. As the time for the ceremony approached, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of disappointment. Most of our extended family and friends had chosen to attend Leela's wedding instead, enticed by her promise of expensive souvenirs for the attendees. My parents decided to attend the first half of my wedding and just catch up with Leela's wedding afterwards. In Leela's wedding, horror enveloped her that day. As she slipped into her stunning wedding gown, surrounded by her bridesmaids, her maid of honor handed her the bridal bouquet.
What kind of bouquet is that? This is trash. I can't even bring myself to hold that dirty thing.
Expecting gorgeous blooms, she received a wilted one with petals drooping and edges turning brown.
I don't know. It's what the florist gave me. I'm sorry, Leela.
Her bridesmaids tried to reassure her, but there was little they could do to salvage the bouquet at that point. They speculated that perhaps the flowers had been exposed to too much heat or had been cut too early, causing them to wilt prematurely.
Oh my god, I'm totally suing those florists after this. Such scammers.
Leela felt her heart sink while clutching her sad-looking bouquet. It was far from the glamorous and elegant accessory she had imagined for her wedding day. When the ceremony started, the door finally opened and Leela made her entrance as the bride. But then she got even more mortified. Not only was her bouquet wilted, but so are the floral arrangement decor on the venue. She had no choice but to walk down the aisle surrounded by the scent of decay and walk on disintegrating rose petals guiding her towards the altar. As Leela stood at the altar, she tried to compose herself despite the embarrassment brought by the flowers. But just as they were about to exchange their vows, a loud commotion from outside the venue disrupted the solemn atmosphere. The sound of a man's slurred voice shouting incoherently echoed through the air, drawing everyone's attention away from the ceremony.
Ladies and gentlemen, we seem to have a disturbance outside. Let's give it a moment to settle down.
What's going on out there?
I have no idea. I can't believe they chose to cause a scene today of all days.
I'm the king of the world. Ooh-hoo-hoo.
Some guests went outside, approached the drunk man and asked him to leave.
Let's continue. Leela, please say your vows.
Ivan, you've shown me what true love is, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. Through thick and thin, I promise to stand by your side and support you in everything you do. I love you more than words can express.
I love weddings, woohoo! I used to be married once. I remember back in the day.
I'm sorry, Ivan, this is just too much.
As the drunk man continued to disrupt the ceremony with his loud and nonsensical rambling, Leela's frustration reached its peak. With all eyes on her, Leela stepped away from the altar briefly and shouted at the drunk man far away.
Excuse me, sir, this is a private event. Your presence is not welcome here. Please leave immediately.
The guests, who were outside, escorted the drunk man away from the venue, making sure he was safely away from the wedding. Leela had dreamed of this day for so long, imagining herself as a poised and elegant bride, radiating grace and beauty. But because of the drunk man, her shouts were a sharp contrast to the soft and gentle tones she had hoped to use during her vows. Aware that all eyes were on her, she felt a burning flush of embarrassment on her cheeks. As the ceremony concluded, it was time for the highly anticipated cake cutting. Leela tried her best to shake off the humiliation she suffered from earlier and put on a brave smile. As the cake was wheeled in, towering and elegant, Leela's excitement began to build again. She stood side by side with Ivan, ready to share this sweet moment together. But just as they picked up the knife to cut the first slice, a collective gasp echoed through the room. The cake, a masterpiece she had painstakingly chosen and designed, suddenly started to lean, then tilt, and before anyone could react, it came crashing down. Frosting and layers of cake splattered everywhere, creating a scene straight out of a slapstick comedy. And at the center of it all stood Leela. Her expensive dress and her hair and makeup that took hours to complete were now ruined. She was speechless and stunned. This was supposed to be her day, her moment to shine, but it felt like a series of unfortunate events had conspired against her. Leela's eyes widened as the pieces fell into place.
Hold on. Wait a minute. First the flowers, then the drunk man, and now the cake. These are all that I planned to happen at Luna's wedding.
She was so frustrated, she didn't realize she was thinking out loud.
You idiots, you're all incompetent. I paid you all to do this at St. Mary's Chapel, not here.
This is St. Mary's Chapel.
What? What are you talking about?
Oh, about that? Honey, you wanted the venue so bad that we fought over it, remember? I was so scared you would call the engagement off, so I begged your sister to let us have it instead, and she agreed. That's why you were escorted here blindfolded, so nothing would ruin the surprise of the venue switch.
I can't believe this. What have you done? Because of you, everything that I planned to ruin Luna's wedding are now all happening to me. This is a nightmare. This is all your fault.
The guests couldn't help but whisper to each other about the unexpected turn of events. Our mother and father just arrived at Leela's wedding from mine. They were quietly observing from the sidelines but heard everything they needed to hear. They realized the true nature of her intentions.
Leela, we didn't know you would take it this far. This is not what we raised you to be. You deserved everything wrong that happened to you today. We're so disappointed in you. We're not funding any of this, and we are never attending any of your wedding again.
As our parents delivered their stern words, Leela was holding back her tears. She had always wanted their approval and admiration, but now she had lost their respect. They turned their backs on her and walked out of the venue. As the guests processed what they had witnessed, some were appalled by Leela's action while others felt sorry for her. Yvonne, hurt by Leela's accusation of ruining her day and her attempts to ruin her own sister's wedding, felt a mix of anger and sadness. He approached Leela with a heavy heart.
All I ever wanted was to make you happy, but I can't stand by and watch you hurt others and yourself like this."
With that, he turned away from her as well and walked away from the altar, leaving Leela standing there in disbelief. The realization of what she had done and the consequences of her actions hit her hard. As time went on, Leela's life collapsed just like her wedding cake. Our parents' disappointment and disapproval of her actions had left a profound impact on their relationship. They became distant from her, no longer communicating with her as they once did. Yvonne's departure on their wedding day marked the end of their relationship as well. Leela's attempts to manipulate and control him pushed him away, and he couldn't bear to be with someone who couldn't see beyond her own desires. Now Leela found herself single and alone, with no one to blame but herself for the mess she had created. On the other hand, my marriage blossomed with each passing day, with my wedding day going perfectly all according to what I imagined it would be. It's just funny how my sister tried to be the baker of her own destiny, but well, sorry to say, karma already had a slice of cake ready for her.